Hi, I'm Lynne. I work for the Cumberland Library, and the library's been working really hard to get some virtual programming to you and to try and do some of the things we would normally try to do at the library at home, because everybody's home. Some people are still quarantining, and I know a lot of you have been cooking and cooking and cooking and probably looking for some new ideas. At this point, some different things to make because you're tired of making the same things. So I'm going to start with something simple for the stovetop. It ends up in the oven. I know we don't like to turn our ovens on this time of the year, heat up the house, but it doesn't stay in there very long. And it's quick and easy. It can be made for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it keeps well, and like I said, it's super easy. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to move my laptop here so you can see what I'm doing, so you won't be able to see my face, which is fine. But anyway, I'm going to move it here. Hopefully you'll be able to see everything I'm doing. Luckily, I got my stove and cutting area near each other. So the first thing, I've already preheated my oven. I've got it on 400, and that's going good there. And the first thing I'm going to do is chop up. Well, I should tell you what I'm making. I'm making a frittata. It is obviously an egg-based dish similar to a quiche, but hello, I'll talk to you like this. It's crustless, so if you're low carb and you're trying to eat eggs and veggies, you're trying to eat healthy, that's great for that. It is obviously not vegan, but it certainly fits into other dietary restrictions. It's gluten-free. And so like I said, we'll get started. Oven is going. I'm gonna chop up some veggies, and we'll get going on that. I'm gonna start with a pepper. I always use a pepper. Red peppers are great for you, and I love them. They add a nice little sweetness, and yeah, and color. We eat with our eyes first, and then if it looks appetizing, we want to get at it even quicker. So we'll get this pepper cut up. I'm not going to use the whole thing because that would be way too much. Save that for another time. You're going to probably hear my cat meowing because he thinks I'm making something for him, which I'm not. All right, so we're going to just, we're going to dice this up. You don't want big giant pieces, and you don't want it to take forever to cook either, because as I said, we're trying to make this quick and easy and nice, quick one pan, easy cleanup, even in the summer, even though we're turning the oven on. All right, that's that. I'm going to cut a little bit more because I like a lot of red pepper. Very good for you. Better than an orange as far as vitamin C goes. And isn't everybody trying to stay as healthy as possible right now? All right, so that's all chopped up. Now I'm going to cut up an onion. If you don't like onion, you don't have to use onion. You could, if you like a milder onion flavor, you could use a scallion or green onion. That's a little bit milder. Or leave it out completely. The good thing about a frittata is, and there's my oven. You really can put so many different things in here. You can put meat in it, dice up some ham, you put bacon. Everybody loves bacon. This one's going to be strictly vegetarian. You can serve a meat on the side, serve it with hash browns, get a nice crusty bread, make some toast. There's plenty of things you can do with that. And veggies, you can put anything, any broccoli in it. I've put asparagus in it. You want to stay away from veggies that are watery, like squash, because it's going to make the mixture wet and probably not cook as well, and be maybe a little bit watery. This onion doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so when to dice that up, you want your veggies to be about the same size. They cook evenly. This is such a non-fussy, I make this a lot, and because it keeps, the leftovers are good for breakfast the next morning. We eat it for dinner a lot, and we love it. It's got a lot of protein. It's really good for you. All right, what else I'm putting in here is spinach and cheese. So hello. I don't need to do much with the spinach. That's going to go in after because that wilts down really quickly and you don't need to cook that ahead. So I'm going to grab my pan and we'll get sauteing, get going on that. Frittatas can be done stovetop completely or oven completely or a little of both. I do a little of both. I do half and half. Stovetop, it's a little bit more risky in terms of you might burn the bottom. And I started out doing it that way and I was always burning the bottom and I was getting frustrated. So I decided to, would help if I turn the pan on. I decided to finish it off in the oven and that works great and it doesn't take very long either way. And I'll show you how to tell when to put it in the oven and when to know that it's done because I don't usually time things all that much. I need to grab my bench scraper, get all that. I always end up with half of it on the floor. So let's do that. Get that in there. And get that going. All right. That's going over there. You can't see it all that well. I'll see if I can get you a picture of that when it's going. You want to sweat the onion down, get that going. So I'm going to throw some salt in there. Decent amount of salt. Remember, you're cooking, this whole dish is going to serve probably, we eat a lot of it, but you could probably serve 6 people with this. Depending on obviously how small you cut them. If you have a restriction where you can only eat like 1 egg a day, and you know you put 8 eggs in it, you can cut it into 8s and you know you're getting the serving of 1 egg. So it's easy to portion out. All right, we'll get that going. And while that's going, I'm putting some pepper in there. I want to talk about the pan too, because half my face. You don't want to see half my face. I use a regular pan. I don't use a non-stick, and a lot of times when you see recipes for frittatas, they say, oh, use a non-stick. If you put enough stuff in there, spray it, olive oil, whatever, which, haha, I forgot to spray it. So, take it off the heat, spray the edges, there we go. But if you get enough olive oil in there, it won't stick. And there's a trick too that I keep it from sticking to the sides. So I'll show you that after too. All right, I'm gonna get my egg mixture going. I use between 8 and 10 eggs. Just going over here to grab them. Again, that way you know what your portions are, and the rest is just veggies, right? So, I mean, very few diets are restricting you from eating tons of veggies, right? I mean, maybe a low carb, I don't know. And I also need milk. Grab my milk. All right, I'm over here. Hello. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get these eggs going. This is going to be spinach and cheese. Gotta have cheese. Gotta have cheese. Toss this around a little bit. You're just cooking these down. You're not caramelizing them, which is why I added salt. If you're going to caramelize them, you wouldn't want to add salt because the salt draws out the liquid and makes them sweat, which is what we're doing. And they're almost ready, really. I mean, it's quick. I turn this down a little bit and get going on the eggs. I'm going to try, I'm probably going to do 9 because 8's like never enough. And really, you can load this up with potatoes. Sometimes it looks like, oh my God, there's more stuff than there is egg. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to bake it. It's delicious. I mean, it's delicious anyway. No matter what you put in it, you put good stuff in it, it's going to be good. It's really hard to wreck it unless you burn it, which I've done actually. I put one in the oven one time with the oven mitt on the pan and it burned. That's what happens when you put cloth in an oven under the broiler. It burned. All right, back to this. Where am I? 5, 6. I'm gonna do 9. It's like, oh my God, 9 eggs, but it's for, you know, multiple meals, multiple people, so don't stress about it. Typically about a half a cup of milk or cream to 6 eggs, but I splash, I don't know, it doesn't matter all that much. Splash it in, throw in some more salt and some pepper. You can put, if you want to make it spicy, you put sriracha or hot sauce or red pepper flakes, you know, whatever you want. All right, it's time, this is really cooked down, so it's time for me to put my spinach in, which I'm going to grab. How do you open these things? Somehow it's already open. And now I'm just tossing this in. I'm just going to throw it in. It's going to wilt down. It looks like a ton, and it's really not. You can kind of just eyeball it. You know, it's going to wilt way down. So I'm going to get this whisked up, and then I'm going to add some cheese. I'll throw that in, get it in the oven, and you won't believe how quick and easy. Eggs. You want them really fluffy. I went to this breakfast place in Maine, and they had these big, they were like known for their omelets, and they had these big huge buckets with, and they would throw like dozens of eggs in there, and they would just go crazy whisking them. I was amazed, and so I've been sort of whisking mine in that kind of insane way ever since. So really give it a good whisk, be nice and fluffy, and make sure you get all the yolks broken. All right, I'm gonna add some cheese, and then we're ready to dump this in here. Let it set a bit. Just waiting for my spinach to wilt down. It only takes a couple of minutes. And get the cheese in here. You can use any kind of cheese you want. A good melting cheese. Most of them are, you know, put as much as you want, a little as you want. This is Gouda. And mozzarella is even anything, really, cheddar, whatever. A lot of times I will throw, and I probably will throw some Parmesan on top to give it a good little crust on the top, make it, you know, brown and make it look pretty. All right, this is ready to go. So what you want to do before you pour your egg mixture on top is sort of spread out the veggies so every slice gets a decent amount. So I'm gonna, if I can, just no big deal, you know, just sort of even it out like that. Everything, you want it to look pretty, and you want everybody to get a good bite. So I'm just gonna toss this in. There we go. That was a big blob of cheese, so I'm gonna spread that around. All right, so now I have it down pretty low. I'm gonna turn it up kind of medium and let it go. Clean up a little bit. It's a good time to clean up. Really, it's quick, but you know, you usually have plenty of time to kind of clean up so you're, when you're ready to eat, half the kitchen's clean, and it's an easy meal and an easy cleanup. So once this starts to sort of cook around the edges, you can see it kind of coming away from the pan. You want to grab, what I do is I grab a spatula. Just, you know, be careful you don't burn it and, you know, melt it. But I just keep going around the edges for a little bit until, see, it's already starting to bubble. So I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to clean up a little bit. When that starts to cook around the edges, I'm going to come back and show you, and I'm going to throw it in the oven, finish it off, and you'll see it. Hello. All right, I cleaned up a little, and our frittata is starting to bubble over here. I'm going to show you, maybe. All right, you can see it's bubbling. And, whoa, this way. And those little bubbles there tell you that the bottom is cooking, which is great. And so what I'm going to do, like I told you, if I can keep this camera steady, is kind of pull it away from the edges and let the edges fill in. Almost ready to go in the oven. Now, let me get you back over here. if the bottom gets a little brown, it's not a big deal. You just don't want to burn it. And that's what I learned about stovetop. It will probably burn because by the time it gets cooked all the way through, the bottom is usually burned. So I think it's ready to go into the oven, and it's only going to take like 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and I'll show it to you. Hello again. Our frittata is looking really good. I'm going to pull it out of the oven, finish it off with a little garnish, and show you what it looks like. Now don't do what I did one time. I just grabbed the pan by the handle. Don't ask me why. She looks beautiful. Oh, that's hot. It's all golden on the top. While you were gone, I did what I said I was going to do, which was put a little Parmesan on the top to make it golden brown, which it worked. It's beautiful. It's popped up nicely. It doesn't always puff up, and it will flatten back down again a little bit, so don't get nervous about that. You kind of should let it sit a little bit. It comes out of the pan a little easier if you wait. Sometimes we're too hungry, we don't wait. And I'm going to throw a little garnish on there. I went out to my herb garden and grabbed some parsley and just toss that over once again. See, it's already starting to flatten out a little bit. But, you know, we use 9 eggs. You can cut it into 9 wedges if you're, you know, portioning. And again, it's only got veggies in it, so it's super healthy, and it's a good breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. Serve it with some crusty bread, some toast, ham steak, home fries, and again, you can put all different kinds of things in it. It's really a method rather than a recipe, and you can kind of do whatever you want with it. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do some other cooking in a little bit, so join me again if you enjoyed it.